Hello and welcome. Today we are cooking. That's right, it's Thursdays with Annette, and I'm making a recipe that is my family's favourite. I think if I had to say my top 5 recipes that I love in all my cookbooks, this would be in that list. That's how fabulous it is. And I want to share the recipe with you today. Now, the main recipe is in book 3, and it is, let me show you what I'm making. I'll find it in a second. I'll be making Mexican dip. Now it is yum. If you haven't tried it, you are missing out, but I'm not going to do the big one, okay, because it serves 16 as an appetizer. I want to show you how you can make it out of cooking for 1 or 2 and it only serves 4, because we often make this when we have a couple of friends over and it's in the afternoon for something savoury to have instead of having everything sweet. But also as an entree, it really works well. And I think that serving 4 is a lot more doable than having to have something that serves 16, and they're appetizers, okay? It's not like a meal. So this is the recipe we're making today, this one here. And interesting, I've got my little bowl that I used for the photo, and I'm going to share you a little secret because it is a bit special. Because you want a bowl, you don't want a high bowl, you want to be able to get into dip, but it's only small. But look here, it's My Little Pony. I mean, you won't know it when you dip it in, but I love this one because it's just the perfect size. So look around your cupboard for a bowl, or a really small pie plate would also work as well. So let's look at the ingredients for this fabulous recipe. It is so good. Winter, summer, spring, I don't care when, we eat it all year round. Perfect for parties, but really great, as I say, this serves as a starter for when you have visitors over. All right, so we're going to use refried beans. Now the thing is, there's nothing fried about refried beans. All it is mashed kidney beans. Yeah, so we're going to use, now it's all small, remember, because we're only making it for 4. So we've got the refried beans, we've got a salsa. It says in the recipe book hot, but I'm using medium because I like it to be just not too hot. You can even use mild if you want, where it's not hot at all. We've got tomato, shallots, capsicum, I've got avocado, I've got taco seasoning, and today I'm making it with the gluten-free taco seasoning. So you can buy both now, which is really important because the person that's coming over to help us eat this later really it's good that she has gluten-free. So I thought I'd do that, and it tastes pretty well the same. So you've got that option now, which is fantastic. We've also got some natural low-fat yogurt, and I'm using the Chobani Greek Natural Light. That's a really good one. And I've got some cheese here as well, grated, to go on the top. So it's layer upon layer upon layer. It's fabulous. So I just want to get started because it's such a great recipe and it's super easy to make. And your guests will think you're very clever because it's such a healthy version of something that can be, sour cream, full fat cheese, that sort of stuff. So first of all, we start with the refried beans. Now I want half a cup. Probably going to be too much, so we'll take some out. Let's have a look. Now this keeps really well in the fridge for a while, if you put it into a container, or you can actually freeze it. And what you could do is do it into half cup things, and then all you've got to do is just bring it out when you're ready. All right, so that's done. So we've opened a jar at this point, so we haven't worked too hard, have we? Now we're going to open a lid, which is the salsa, and we want 1/4 cup. So just mix it up a little bit, and then 1/4 cup. Yep, that goes in. And salsa is fantastic to eat on its own, with dips, with crackers and things like that. But it also freezes if you wanted to do different packets of it in the freezer so that you can always make your dip when you want. Now in the full recipe, which serves 16 appetizers, you use the whole can and the whole jar. But I just thought, and I've made this so much more since I've been able to make a smaller version of it, because, you know, yes, for parties, it's perfect, but not for when it's just a few of you hanging around. All right, so this is our first layer done. So just put that at the bottom. Spread that out. And as I say, this is enough for 4, so you can imagine we're all going to be very happy, even though it's small. So that's the first layer done. The next one is we're going to mash avocado. So I've got 75 grams here, because I find that easier than measuring it out in cups. And you use half a teaspoon of the Taka seasoning. And that will just give that avocado a little bit of a boost of flavour, which is good. It's important if your avocado's soft, but I've got to tell you, this has got a big chunk of hardness going here. Couldn't you have found a softer one for me, Billy? Oh. Oh my goodness. I love avocado, and I think it goes so well in this dip. And I think, you know, people love going through and discovering all the different layers. Just give it a good mash. Oh, I've got one big chunk here. Oh, there we go, it's softening up. All right, so let's get another scraper, I think. And we're going to do now the avocado. So what I do is I tend to put bits around, you know, like a blob around, so I can spread it easily. Don't just clump it all in the middle. There we go. I'll say include those little bits. We don't want to miss out. And now use your fork and just spread, just gently, spread your avocado over the top. There we go. Right, so there's our avocado layer. Now our last one before we start chopping is the yogurt. Now just check if it's a bit wet, you know, sometimes it'll have the whey, like which is the water bit. If it is, this is good, it doesn't. Just drain it off because you don't want that. And I always give it a little bit of a mix up. And we want 1/3 of a cup, which I might use. No, I'll use 1/3 of a cup. See, normally in a recipe like this, you would be using sour cream. Now, this leftover yogurt, you could either have it for breakfast, you know, or, once again, we're going to dob it along, or you can actually freeze yogurt for a couple of weeks if you wanted to. But once again, you know, you could find other things for it, I'm sure. And then we just gently spread that over the top. There we go. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is chop up the veggies that go on the top. So I'll start with the shallots. We want 2 tablespoons. And this is the thing, because it's such a small amount, you don't spend a lot of time chopping heaps of food because it's always so much smaller. Can I just say, just do it thinly. You don't want big chunks of vegetables on the top. The thinner the better, because that way you get your corn chip or your rice cracker or whatever you're going to use, and you get it through like the layers, because you want to be able to get to the bottom. 2 tablespoons. There's 1. So just sprinkle that around. I don't want that end bit. Oh my gosh, this is such a fun recipe, and I think you'll find that young and old absolutely love it. It's all good. It's always at our parties. We always make it. So shallots go on. Just give it an even distribution if you can. Then we have the capsicum. Once again, we want 2 tablespoons as well. Cut it fairly thin. Two tablespoons, and then small dice. Now you can make this in the morning of a function. Just cling wrap it and it'll be great. 2 tablespoons again. Sprinkle it over. See, you don't want it to be too heavy with all this because, you know, you want to get through all the layers. But, you know, you can always add a little bit more if you want. What the heck. Last one is the tomato. And we want a 1/4 cup of tomato. So just slice it. And then thin strips and then small dice. Now there is actually, if you do love dips, there's a fantastic section in book 7, which is in the party food section, and it's got a whole array of different dips you can make. And I like it being that you can see what's in it. You know, you're putting your food in, it's all natural and fabulous. There's no processing stuff going on. You never know what they do to keep things lasting for a long time. So I might just chop that up as well. There we go. All right, sprinkle the tomato on. Look, do you know, I love this for Christmas. I mean, oh gosh, do we want to talk about Christmas? No, we don't. It's too far away, people. But it does have that green, white and red look about it. There we go, there's the tomato. And we are now finished with all of our chopping. We're nearly done. It's that easy. Last thing we have to do is the cheese. Now it's 2 tablespoons of the reduced fat cheese and grated. And I do like grating my cheese myself because see, I feel you get more when you do it yourself. See how thin it is. When you buy the already grated cheese, it seems to be quite thick and it doesn't melt as well, I don't think, either as if you do it yourself. But look at that. Oh my God, isn't it beautiful? So there is. The small version serves 4, so I've got my 1/4 here, thank you, and I'm having it. Let me just show you how I do the dip. So, when we do the dips, we always put the 2 dessert spoons on either side so that you can get through the layers. Instead of trying to go there with a corn chip or a rice cracker, a cake, or no, not rice cake, a rice cracker, you go in through the layer and pick it up with the spoon and then put it on your corn chip or whatever you're going to have. Fantastic. Now, this is such a great recipe. Please try it for me because it is so fabulous. If you want to win, you can win this week both these books. That's right. And that's very generous for 2023. So you can win both books personally signed by me. All you have to do is like, share, and then in the comments, just write hashtag simply with a 2 good. Simply with a Y, 2 good, and you'll go in the chance to be picked for next week's winners. Now, next week's show, I'm doing a gorgeous dessert. You know, we want some nice wintry sort of desserts, don't we? So I'm going into book 7, into the gluten-free section. Don't be swayed by the fact that it's gluten-free. It is fabulous for anyone. And it's the lemon cherry pudding. Yum! think you're going to love it. It's perfect for this time of the year, and it's a really delicious recipe, and I'll make that for you next week. So don't forget to go into simplytoogood.com.au for more tips and recipes. And let's be honest, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously let me start that again. Who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? I mean, let's be honest. I'm dipping into this, that's for sure. Thanks for joining me this week, and I'll catch you next Thursday. Bye now.